Hey now, Judi Moolten, Grateful Mindset Properties, Realty radio show host. Saturdays each week, 9 a.m. Realtor, broker in charge at Grateful Mindset Properties in Western North Carolina, helping folks list, buy in North Carolina and beyond. Want to know more? Call or text 828-290-0940. Judi Moolten, host of the Grateful Mindset Properties Realty Radio Show, coming to you from WKHP live Saturday mornings, 9 a.m., where the heavens kiss the peaks. FM 107.7, AM 1450, and online at gratefulmindsetproperties.com, as well as WHKP.com. Be sure to check out our previous shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, online at www.gratefulmindsetproperties.com. Right on our first page, you just simply scroll down and you can see any of our previous shows. You can listen to any of our previous shows. You can listen to them at all the places I've mentioned, Apple and so on, Spotify, a big one, right? A couple of things to mention on the show today. First off, if you are hearing me for the first time, the 10th time, etc., I am a realtor, broker in charge, serving Western North Carolina with a grateful mindset. If you listen to me on another radio show, you've heard me talk about my board member affiliations. The HWC Activities Coordinator and Charity Liaison. In case you're not familiar, HWC stands for the Hendersonville Welcome Club. There's a group of us that help out. We're on the board, and we try to really bring people together. And I focus on activities and coordinating new and fun activities, new groups, new things to do, book clubs, hiking, trips of various nature, and so on. If you're new to the area and are here for years and want to know more about some activities happening in and around Hendersonville, text or call me at 828-290-0940. If you want to suggest a new activity or lead a new activity, feel free to reach out. Judi Moolten, Grateful Mindset Properties Realty radio host and broker in charge extraordinaire here in Hendersonville. I'm also a charity liaison. I help bring nonprofits' needs and our community together to help one another. I have guests on all the time from various nonprofits that I support, people I know, like, and trust. I bring on the show, people I work with, I talk to on the phone, vendors I find through Grateful Mindset Properties, as well as Greenway Construction, which I'm my project manager of, bringing remodeling, repair, repurposing of people and things here in Western North Carolina. I support that, and, I find out about contractor loans and construction loans and different ways to support folks that way. I'll talk a little bit more about that possibly later on the show if we have time. But, as a charity liaison, if you're new to the area, like I said, or here for years, there are so many charities. Homes for Youth is one that I support. I'm currently trying to help them find their next foster home. In a few weeks, I'll have some of the folks from the local county on to talk about things happening here. But I try to bring on folks that really, have served our community, our country, nation, the world in some way that brings something of value. So it's art, science, and a tad of real estate for sure. So let me talk today about some things that are happening here in North Carolina, Western North Carolina. So let's see what is happening on the MLS today, on the multiple listing system today, our listings. There are currently 7 coming soon, 29 new listings, few price decreases, and some back on the market. Again, price decreases, it's been on the market for a long time. It was priced high. It needs a lot of work. Fixer-uppers used to be $200,000. They're now starting at about $300,000. The median price range around here across the nation is anywhere from $390,000 to $4+ and that's your 3.2 and so on. So there's a lot going on the market today. Interest rates have definitely had an effect. Interest rates 7.299. We're almost at 7.3 on the 30-year fixed. 6.726% is the 15-year. 30 plus years ago, my parents were buying a home. Interest rates were double, triple what they are now. Obviously, the cost of a home, it's all relative, right? The cost of a home was 30,000, 60,000, right? But the interest rate was 15, 20, 30%, whatever it was incredibly high. So it's all relative to what's happening in the world, right? So right now, again, Judi Moolten, realtor, broker in charge, Grateful Mindset Properties, grateful to be living, working, and helping folks. Please call or text 828-290-0940. I'm the host of the Grateful Mindset Realty Radio Show each week, Saturdays, 9 a.m. And right now, I'm sharing people, sharing science, art, and the region and regional through national real estate news and more. So the numbers across the nation, U.S., in July 2023, the typical home value, according to the value index, was $349,679. So that's all of the U.S., right? The average was $349,679. Change in typical home value from last month. So July, August, it went up about 0.85%. Typical monthly rent across the U.S. is about $2,000 to $2,500. Change in typical rent from last year, it's up about 3.6%. And in further news, as of 8/22/2023, from other well-known factual resources like NAR, the National Association of Realtors, Zillow, there's so many, right? The existing home sales slipped 2.2% in July. So if we look at July of last year, July and August of last year to July and August of this year, it has gone down slightly overall. So prices may have gone up, but sales may have gone down because if you look at interest rates, as I mentioned a few moments ago, interest rates do play a role. Climate plays a role, and I'll be talking about that further on down the line on the show. But let's look at existing home sales recorded in July and August, according to the National Association of Realtors, Zillow, and so on. Among 4 major U.S. regions, sales grew in the West, but faded in the Northeast, Midwest, and South. All 4 regions registered year-over-year sales decline. So again, interest rates up, cash buyers are still out there, but when you have overall, and we look at averages, the sale prices may be higher, but sale of homes has dropped 2.2%. So total existing home sales, completed transactions that include single-family homes, townhomes, condominiums, co-ops, fractional ownership, and so on, it waned 2.2 from June to August. Seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.07 million people. So year over year, sales slumped 16.6%, down from 4.88 million in July of 2022. So again, sales, right? Still low inventory market, still here in Western North Carolina, place to live. 2 factors are driving current sales activity: inventory availability, low inventory, and mortgage rates, said NAR chief economist Lawrence Yun. Fortunately, both have been unfavorable to buyers, right? So if interest rates are high on average and there's less inventory, people are like, yeah, I'm going to stick to wherever I'm at and try to figure it out and make the best of the situation. But total housing inventory registered at the end of July was 1.1 million units, up 3.7 from June, but down 14.6 from 1 year ago. So 1.3 million we were at a year ago. So unsold inventory sits at a 3.3 month supply at the current sale price in that 300 to 400,000 range, 3.1 months in June and 3.2 months in July through August. The median existing home price for all housing types July through August was $406,700, an increase of 1.9% from July of 22. We were at $399,000. As I mentioned, $300,000 is about the that price point. $300,000 and less is really the fixer-upper range. So that's up quite a bit from a year ago. First-time buyers were responsible for 30% of sales, up from 27% from a month ago and a year ago. November, we looked at a year ago. We found the annual share of first-time buyers was 26%, so the lowest since NAR began tracking the data. So that has dropped a bit. Let's see what else. Individual investors or second home buyers who make up many cash sales purchased 16% of homes in July, down from 18%. Mortgage rates, according to Freddie Mac, 30-year fixed rate, as I mentioned, we're in that high 7s for the 30-year, high 6s for the 15. So single family and co-op sales, let's see, single family home sales slid. So we're down again. Existing condominium prices raised, went up, but sales down, regional breakdown. So looking here in North Carolina, we're down a little bit. Midwest, we're down a little bit. So across the nation, in the West, we're down a little bit. But the average price in the West is $610,000. The average price in the Midwest is $304,000. The average price here in Western North Carolina is in the late 300s to early 400s. That's our mid-price range. Let's talk about climate change, because that's a big factor here. We've got interest rates, we've got low inventory, but climate change and the best places to live based on weather. Obviously, Western North Carolina is a great place to live. We're at the base of the Smoky Mountains. We've, low to relative humidity, but it is getting hotter across the globe. So according to the New York Times, this year's heat can seem relentless and appear to be only the beginning of a lifetime of hotter summers. It's even hot in the oceans. And then there are the wildfires, droughts, and floods, which have recently hit the seeming paradise of Hawaii and California, as all of us very well know, and have been trying our best to support families and sending things that we can to help, right, through United Way and various resources. The weather extremes are enough to drive some people to pick up their lives and look for more climate-friendly places to live. A climate adaptation expert at Tulane University, living in low-lying New Orleans, where we know, Katrina and so on, we know that another Katrina is going to happen. That's what he said. Referring to the hurricane that struck the city in 2005, he says, "I tell my students within your lifetime that you will see another hurricane. Tulane will no longer be a university. Your alma mater will relocate or disappear because of where it lies, that low-level region. Are there places that are better suited to deal with climate change? Yes. Experts say the Midwest, inland Northeast, and Northern Great Plains are 3 examples, as well as North Carolina, Western North Carolina, for example. We are not on the coast, so parts of Canada, Russia, Scandinavia are also some other places around the globe. These regions are not immune to climate problems. It's called global warming for a reason, but they are expected to see less of the extreme weather than a hotter planet will bring. Most of you may have noticed, I've been here 5 years. I moved here in 2018 as a clinician. I was brought out to do psych evaluations for the impoverished in the area, all across Western North Carolina. And I got to know this area. I found all the, neighboring watering holes, all the places to go off the beaten path because of what I did and what I do for a living now as a broker in charge. But I will tell you that Americans are not moving to climate-friendly places today. If anything, many more have moved away. One of the fastest growing U.S. cities is Phoenix, which has suffered temperatures above 110 degrees Fahrenheit for much of this summer. That trend could start to change as people endure more disasters. I was looking on the MLS, the multiple listing system. I'm on it so many times a day, right? For my clients, my consumers, my friends, and so on. And I can tell you, you look at the 100-year floodplain, it's expanding. I see people selling properties that are butting up against that 100-year floodplain. It is expanding. We are having more hurricanes. We are having more weather issues. We are having more, rivers cresting, lakes, etc. Obviously, here in Hendersonville, Western North Carolina, we're fairly untouched. We build things high enough. We plan on that 100-year floodplain. You're okay. If you have farmland, it benefits your farmland. But moving to safety, how do you know whether a location is better suited for dealing with climate change than the place you live now? Experts point out to 2 major factors. The first is geography. Consider here, Western North Carolina, inland, anywhere away from the rising ocean, the hotter oceans and seas that will cause more floods and more intense hurricanes. Midwest, for example, they're further north than many others with naturally lower temperatures. Obviously, they also have the freaking cold temperatures too. The Great Lakes and surrounding rivers provide sources of water, preventing some of the worst effects of drought. These factors also apply to much of the Northeast and U.S. in the Northern Great Plains. The second factor is the ability to take in newcomers, just like Western North Carolina. We're protected, we're away from those regions that are right on the ocean. So the other piece is, do we take in newcomers? We do. We have people buying here first time, second time, third time, third home, et cetera. So can we take people in? Does the area have enough affordable housing? Yes, we live in an area where housing is affordable. Obviously, it's relative to where you move from. I'm originally from Boston. I lived in San Francisco, Washington, D.C., places that are extremely high in terms of price point, and the average $600,000 plus for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. But some cities meet these standards. Detroit, Cincinnati, Buffalo, New York are some common examples. They are in regions where more climate-friendly geography exists, and they have one thing in common. Their population has shrunk by the hundreds of thousands since the 50s. Now, Western North Carolina continues to grow. We meet all the other criteria. So leaving with both a desire to bring people back and many empty buildings, for example, in Detroit and New York, that could be turned into housing. Now, I've talked to the local government about creating new housing, and I will be having some local government folks on in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be talking about some of that because that's really important, bringing in new housing, creating new housing. And my husband's a general contractor. He's a nationally licensed contractor, insured, bonded, et cetera, has a great group of guys that work for him and ladies. And I can tell you, the average cost to build a home is anywhere from $200 to $300 per square foot. So if you're thinking of building or getting a construction loan, you have to keep that in mind. And that is just building the home. That's the structure itself. It is not the interior with whatever you want to put in. If you're getting a Sub-Zero refrigerator or putting in granite, all these things will add up. It's going to be, $200,000 to $300,000 to build the home, and then another $200,000 and $300,000 plus to do the interior. But that the disaster highlight that is important to point out: better is not perfect. Climate change has an impact everywhere. Even if residents can take steps to mitigate the damage, many people also can't or won't leave their homes. Some, particularly in the poorer global South, simply cannot. Now we're talking real poor, impoverished areas in Appalachia and the South that don't have access to things that we do here in Western North Carolina, but can't afford to move or avoid potential disaster. So impoverished areas definitely are affected. Wealthier places are not always ready for extreme weather. Hawaii fires, for example, California, a lack of preparedness and human error, including possible mistakes by utility companies, right, that make the situation worse, as we now know. The bottom line: the planet will continue. The global warming exists. It is real, folks. The planet will continue to warm in the coming decades, according to most recent projections. Those rising temperatures will bring more extreme weather and more disasters. I was looking at buying property in Florida. I changed my mind. I have folks moving here from Florida that said, you know what? I need to have a second home because I need to be ready or be here just in case, because it's only getting worse. It's only getting hotter. It's only getting warmer. So those coastal regions are definitely most affected. Even inland in Florida is affected because it is such a big state and so many people, and so much is reliant on weather there, and they deal with this natural disaster on a normal basis. It's only going to increase. So in some cases, doing so, trying to mitigate the problems, trying to solve it, answering one of those two questions: do we have room to grow? Are we in an affordable area? Is inventory being created? We hit all three of those here in Western North Carolina. But in some cases, doing what you can doesn't always solve the problem. So being straightforward, installing air conditioning in more homes, doing things, whatever you need to do. But some might feel compelled to take more extreme steps, including leaving those homes behind. Like I mentioned, my folks in Florida. Basically, 20 years from now, a summer like this is going to feel like a mild summer. So, the 90s that we're dealing with, which is since I've been here, the 5+ years, I have never seen above 80s. 90s, which I particularly, I enjoy it. We still can get, a breeze. We have air conditioning. It is fabulous. So that is one thing that I'm very grateful for. And I focus on, the glass is half full, and what can I do to turn that frown upside down, right? What can I do to not sweat the small stuff and make life easier? Because the happiest people don't have the best of everything. They make the best of everything. Happiest people don't have the best of everything. They make the best of everything. So with all the changes happening since COVID, here's some fun facts. We've seen cycles come and go. Everything from music trends that emulate days gone by to past decades of fashion making a comeback. It is evident that cycles are all around us. Climate change, more inventory, things to do, all those things play a role, right? Trends are cycles. Within, the anticipatory organizational model, the importance is on identifying both hard trends, future certainties that will happen, right? Things are getting hotter, and soft trends, future maybes open to influence, right? So hard trends and soft trends sound similar to the concept of cycles, don't they? That's because they are. If we begin with hard trends, a future certainty means we know it will happen. For example, we know the sun will rise tomorrow morning. We know that next year is going to be hotter than this year. 20 years from now, the summer that we're feeling right now in the 90s is going to be the mild summer, right? We know spring follows a bitter cold winter, and we know a brisk fall follows a blisteringly hot summer. Those are, trends that we know, right? Those are hard trends. On the other hand, soft trends are merely details that we can influence, the things that are within our control. The hard trend that the sun will rise tomorrow comes with the soft trend that we can choose to do something specific with the day that comes with said sunrise, or choose where we travel or where we live to when that warm summer follows a mild spring. Understand how hard trends and soft trends can be leveraged in an anticipatory and an organizational way is integral to leveraging cycles to our advantage. And this skill set is even more important now that we've begun a new normal in our current world. Positive COVID-19 cycles. Now that we've been through a global disruption like the coronavirus pandemic, and we're dealing with global warming, and we have for years, and we're going to continue to see it changing. Many businesses and business leaders have been distracted. They've been distracted by everything that's been going on. No business was more disrupted than in-person brick and mortar businesses. All of us feel that. All of us see that. That's why I send to my friends, my clients, LOLO. It stands for Locals Helping Locals. And I send a gift out every month to the people I know, like, and trust, and I care about, because I believe in sharing is caring. That's why I'm volunteering on the radio each Saturday morning at 9 a.m. live on WKHP.com. I'm Judi Moolten, Grateful Mindset Properties Realty radio shows, but I'm here volunteering every day. I bring people on my radio show so that I can help share what they do, what they love to do, what brings them joy, and how that makes a change in their neighbors and the people around them and for themselves. So whether it's a movie theater chain or a family restaurant, COVID-19 halted growth in a seemingly insurmountable way for many who rely on physical customers walking through their doors. But the good news is that cycles exist. Just sure as hard trends and soft trends exist, during the days of the global lockdown, I reminded everyone that these times will end. We will exit the days after COVID-19 and mask wearing. However, we have now witnessed something many of us never imagined, a global pandemic and quite a hit to the economy. It's what we're dealing with these interest rates right now. We're trying to level things off because 17% of the U.S. economy relies on people like me to help people like you create housing, create inventory, create a place for people to live. It is a right that you deserve to have. So having been kept from patronizing in-person businesses, in the most part, customers are craving human interaction, right, since COVID-19. As we bounce back, people are going to visit their favorite restaurants, try new ones, be open to travel, and want to stay in hotels again. Coupled with COVID-19 fatigue, does this mean people will throw their devices away and revert to the days prior to digital technology? Absolutely not. Disruption, being a disruptor. I believe in being a disruptor. That's why I believe in mindset, and what we focus on expands, and I do what I can to make a difference in in the smallest way to the biggest way possible, to helping nonprofits, to creating my own, to having my own business, doing what I can to help others, right? Being a disruptor. So that's how we'll stay ahead of the curve, right? The hard, the soft, and the world. That's how we'll be able to help, to make an impact, to disrupt it. We live in what I call a both and world, where the Internet of Things, the IoT, the Internet of Things, and connectivity have allowed us to have both in-person and digital aspects to just about every industry, whether it's a vehicle that has autonomous features and can be driven by a person or a company. You see those Google cars driving around and gathering information. It is there, right? Everybody talks about AI. It is there. AI will never replace us. They will not replace real estate agents. They will not replace general contractors. We are essential workers, and we are not disappearing. Zillow tried to create that program where they would buy homes, and use digital technology and AI to do that. It didn't work. There are companies that try to do that here in Western North Carolina, and they offer limited services, and sellers pay them a limited amount. And what they get is they leave money on the table. They don't hire a full service, firm like mine or others out there. And that mindset basically creates a trickle down effect. And then they leave money on the table. The buyers, don't get exactly what they want, and the sellers don't get exactly what they are. We are in an era of rapid change. So it's more important to pay attention to these cycles, to these trends, soft and hard, and foster your own anticipatory mindset. Be grateful, anticipate, figure out ways to stay positive and ahead of these trends, right? Be involved. Businesses were restricted from or during the pandemic like never before. However, the convenience of digital technology and AI, some of the positives, marketing, businesses, and so on, Uber and these cars that may run for Uber and Lyft without a person inside, but a computer running them, and so on. These both and world real ideas, they'll bounce back better than ever before. I just want to thank you so much for listening. It has been great to have you on the radio show and have you listen week after week. It has been my pleasure. Judi Moolten, Grateful Mindset Properties. Be sure to call or text me for more details on real estate, art, places to rent, buy, sell, remodel, repurpose, people and things. I have things to share. I can even do a real estate review if you want, free of charge. Come out, find out I'll come out to your home. I'll talk to you over the phone. I can do it digitally, remotely. What is your home worth? What is your neighbor's house going to sell for? I have skill sets. I can give you information from Greenway Construction on carpentry, electrical, plumbing, any of those needs. If you need an estimate on that, just feel free to reach out for any reason or no reason. Judi Moolten, Realtor, helping folks list, buy, sell in Western North Carolina. Text or call 828-290-0940. Judi Moolten, host of the Grateful Mindset Properties Realty radio show. I want you to try to say that 5 times fast and see how you do. Here I am again, where the heavens kiss the peaks, FM 107.7, AM 1450, and online at gratefulmindsetproperties.com, WKHP.com. Judi Moolten, Realtor, broker in charge, grateful repurposer of people and things, Grateful Mindset Properties Realty radio show host out of Hendersonville, North Carolina. Thank you so much for listening.